Alex, I spent 45 minutes this morning looking for a very specific 10 millimeters bolt. Just one. I knew I had it. I could see it in my mind's eye, sitting in a little plastic drawer.
Let me guess. You found it approximately 3 seconds after you got back from the hardware store with a 10-pack of them.
Worse, I never went to the store. I got so frustrated that I ended up firing up the lathe and turning one out of a piece of hexagonal steel stock. Threaded it, chamfered it, the whole bit.
Wait, hold on. You spent an hour making a 50-cent bolt because you were too stubborn to keep looking.
Here's the thing nobody tells you, Alex. The bolt I made is better. It fits the bracket perfectly. The shoulder is exactly the right length, and this is the important part. It didn't exist in the world until I decided it needed to. There's a specific kind of magic in that. It's what we're talking about today. The best things to make are the things you literally cannot buy.
Okay, I'll give you the bespoke bolt satisfaction, but for most people, making means saving a few bucks on oatmeal or mixing your own window cleaner, which, by the way, I saw you doing with that gallon of vinegar yesterday. The shop smelled like a pickle jar for 3 hours.
Hey, that vinegar and newspaper trick is an old-timer classic. What they don't put in the manual for adulting is that 90% of the stuff in the cleaning aisle is just water, fragrance, and a 400% markup. But you're right, there's a spectrum. There's making to save money, which is what the frugal folks in the zero-waste crowd talk about. And then there's making to solve a problem the market doesn't even know exists.
Well, let's start with the saving money side, because I know you. You love a good deal. I've seen you reclaim nails from a pallet, Tiger. Let's just say I paid tuition on that lesson when I tried to help you and hit a knot.
Learned that one the hard way, did you? My bad. But look, there's a real joy in high-quality sovereignty. Take the kitchen, for example. People buy these variety packs of oatmeal. It's basically dust, sugar, and a prayer. If you buy the 20-pound bag of steel-cut oats, you're not just saving money, you're controlling the texture. You're the master of the oat.
Master of the oat. Put that on a t-shirt. But seriously, I read this thing where it's actually 5 times more expensive to get delivery than to cook at home. And even those meal kits, they're 3 times the price of just buying the ingredients. It's like we're paying a lazy tax on everything.
It's a convenience trap. And it's not just food. Think about the shop. How many times have you bought a specialty jig for a table saw? Some piece of plastic that costs $60?
Too many times. And the plastic usually cracks the second time you drop it.
Exactly. What the old-timers know but don't share is that the best jigs are made of scrap plywood and a few toggle clamps. They're dialed into your specific saw. They handle your specific project. When you make those things, you're not just being frugal, you're building a toolkit that's an extension of your own hands.
Okay, I'm with you on the jigs, but let's get into the zero waste stuff you were looking at. This one article was saying you can make your own toothpaste and deodorant. Tiger, are you making your own deodorant? Please tell me you aren't testing a sawdust-based antiperspirant.
Not yet. Those cedar shavings do have a lovely aroma. But here's what I wish someone had told me years ago. A lot of our needs are manufactured by marketing departments. Take all-purpose cleaner. It's mostly water. If you keep a spray bottle of 50-50 vinegar and water, and maybe a drop of dish soap, you've solved 95% of your problems for about 12 cents.
But does it satisfy that maker itch, or is it just a chore?
It's both. It's the ritual of self-reliance. It's the same feeling I get when I hand grind a tool. Nobody warns you about this, but when you start making your own stuff, whether it's pasta sauce from scratch or a leather apron, you start to get quality pilled. You can't go back to the cheap stuff.
Quality pilled. I like that. It's true, though. After you built that mahogany desk for your office, I saw you at the big box furniture store looking at a coffee table. You looked like you were looking at a crime scene.
It's the particle board, Alex. It hurts my soul. They put a photo of wood on top of compressed sawdust and glue and call it modern industrial. Ask me how I know how easily those things fall apart. Let's just say my first apartment involved a lot of IKEA furniture and a very heavy book collection. It didn't end well.
I can imagine. But let's play devil's advocate. Making takes time. Time is the one thing we can't make more of. If I spend 3 hours making 20 jars of tomato sauce to save 40 bucks, am I actually winning, or am I just working for sub-minimum wage?
That is the ultimate question. And the part they leave out of the YouTube tutorials is the opportunity cost. If you hate gardening and you hate canning, then making your own sauce is a prison sentence. But if you find peace in the steam of the kitchen or the rhythm of the rasp against wood, the time isn't an expense. It's the reward.
See, that's where you and I agree. It's about the intent. I don't make my own soap because I want to save $4 at the pharmacy. I make my own workbenches because when I stand at them, they're the exact height for my elbows. The world is built for the average person, but none of us are actually average.
That's it. That's the core of it. Don't ask me how I figured this out, but the reason most people are unhappy with their tools or their homes is that they're trying to fit themselves into a mass-produced mold. When you make the thing you can't buy, you are asserting that your specific needs matter.
Like that baby formula mention in the Reddit thread, someone was asking if they can make their own newborn formula at home because it's expensive.
Okay, let's be very clear here. That is the one place where I draw a hard line. Don't make your own baby formula. That's not maker spirit. That's a chemistry degree you don't have. There are some things where the industrial process is actually there for our safety.
Right. Frugal shouldn't mean dangerous.
Exactly. But let's look at the other side, non-edibles. You can make an amazing leather balm with beeswax and neatsfoot oil. You can't find that stuff in a store without it being filled with petroleum distillates and smelling like a gas station. When you make it, you know it's safe for your hands and your gear.
So, give it to me straight, Tiger. For someone listening who's stuck in the buy, use, dispose cycle, what's the gateway drug to making the things you can't buy?
It starts with the annoyance factor. Find the thing in your life that almost works, but doesn't. Maybe it's a drawer that's always messy because no dividers fit it. Maybe it's a tool handle that's too thin for your grip.
For me, it was that weird gap between my stove and the counter. Every time I cooked, a piece of onion would fall into the abyss.
The abyss. See, you can't buy an abyss filler. You had to measure that gap, find a piece of trim, shave it down, and fit it. How did you feel once that gap was closed?
Honestly, like a titan of industry. I stared at that piece of wood for 10 minutes. It's the most satisfying thing in my kitchen.
That's the feeling. It's not about the wood. It's about the fact that you looked at a problem and said, I am capable of changing my environment.
Okay, but what about when it goes wrong? You mentioned shop disasters earlier. I feel like the making journey is 20% success and 80% trying to figure out why the glue didn't set.
Oh, let's talk about the glue. I once tried to make a custom epoxy river table, before they were cool, mind you, and I didn't seal the bottom of the mold properly. I poured 5 gallons of expensive resin into the frame, went to get a sandwich, and came back to find my shop floor looking like a shallow blue lake.
No way. Did you save the floor?
Let's just say I have a very permanent, very blue, very level section of floor now. I paid tuition on that lesson, but that's what the tutorials don't show. They show the polished final product. They don't show the part where you're on your hands and knees with a scraper, questioning every life choice that led you to this moment.
But you still do it.
Every single day. Because at the end of the day, I have a house full of stories. My dining table isn't just a surface. It's the time I accidentally used a dull blade and had to sand for 3 days. My favorite chisel isn't just a tool. It's the one I rehandled with a piece of plum tree from my backyard.
I think the takeaway here is that frugality is just the entry point. The real value is in the unbuyable. You can't buy the feeling of using a tool you made yourself. You can't buy the exact shade of weathered oak that you achieved by soaking steel wool in vinegar for a week.
Right. And you certainly can't buy the confidence that comes from knowing that if something breaks, you aren't helpless. You're the technician. You're the manufacturer.
So, for the listeners, stop scrolling for the perfect solution on Amazon. It isn't there. The perfect solution is currently a piece of scrap in your garage or a set of ingredients in your pantry.
Exactly. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Start small. Don't build a timber frame barn on weekend 1. Make a better coaster. Make a mallet. Make your own taco seasoning. Once you realize the experts are just people who have failed more times than you, the world starts to look a lot more like a giant Lego set.
A giant, dusty, sometimes smells like vinegar Lego set.
Precisely.
Thanks for the talk, Tiger. I'm going home to fix that wobbly chair leg, and I'm not buying a shim. I'm carving one.
That's the spirit. Just watch your fingers. I've only got 10, and I'd like to keep it that way. Build it because you need it. Build it because you can. But mostly, build it because nobody else can make it quite like you. We'll see you next time in the Tiger Den.